I'm Tulika Mehra, and I'm a licensed immigration advisor working with AJV Global. Our company is a migration consultancy. AJV now has a total of 8 licensed immigration advisors, which makes us one of the few companies that have these many licensed advisors. What that basically means is that we are that one company that will assist you with any migration queries that you have for New Zealand. We only intend to provide you with honest advice on different and best pathways available to you to migrate to New Zealand. So for today, I will be speaking to you all about different visa categories that you can look at when you plan to travel to New Zealand and how the border restrictions look right now for those categories. Recently, we've received so many queries, and I know everyone is waiting to hear something about the border restrictions and when are they going to open up. While we do not have too much information on hand yet, I will try to give you as much information as possible for all different visa categories that we will discuss today. So let's just see if everything is fine, and then we can continue with the session today. So before I begin with the session today, I would just like to show you my license card. This license card is issued to me by the Immigration Advisors Authority, which basically allows me to sit here with you today and advise you on your migration queries. Before I get to the topic, I request you all to kindly leave your questions in the comment section. I know that a lot of you will have queries while I'm speaking about today's topic. So please continue to leave your questions in the comment section, and I will try and address all of them today before we end the session. I also request you all to kindly leave us your contact numbers, so in case that we can connect with you and explain your queries in detail. So coming to today's topic for the day, there are different pathways that you can take depending on where you are in your life right now, what are your priorities like right now, and what are the easiest and fastest pathways to New Zealand. So we'll go one by one. Let's talk about the most talked about and discussed and questioned pathway, that is the residence pathway, also known as the skilled migrant category. So you've seen that we've done a couple of sessions on this, especially for this category, that is the skilled migrant category. I've done one session. My co-worker and colleague Navya Sikka has done one session. So I'll briefly explain you what a residence category is, and I'll get on to answering the questions that people have regarding this later in the session, and you'll have more clarity. So basically, the skilled migrant category, the first important thing that you need for this category is to have 160 points as per your profile. If you have those points, then only it makes sense to go ahead with this category. So first, we'll have to evaluate your profile and see if you are meeting the 160 points. These points can be based on various factors of your profile, such as your age, your qualification, your work experience, your partner's qualification, etc. So once you know that, yes, you are able to claim those 160 points, the next process for it is to submit an expression of interest. After you submit an expression of interest, the Immigration New Zealand will pick up those expression of interest known as EOIs and issue you an ITA, which is called an invitation to apply. Once you are issued an ITA, you have about 4 months to submit the documentation, which is basically for the points that you're claiming, to provide evidence that, yes, that you can claim those points. So once you submit that residence application, so what becomes very important here is that for getting direct residence, you need to be meeting one of the 2 important requirements, which is either you have a job offer from New Zealand or you have completed a master's or a higher degree, which was at least for 2 years from New Zealand. If you are not meeting either of these 2 requirements, what immigration is likely to do is to defer your application for now and give you a 1-year job search visa, which will allow you to go to New Zealand, find yourself a job, and then once you find yourself a job, your residence application is processed further. So this is the skilled migrant, also known as residence pathway, for people who are outside of New Zealand. So for this pathway, recently, in fact, we have received an information that immigration has decided to delay the selections of EOIs by 6 months. So by till April, there will be no selections, and they plan to review this decision in 2021. So as of now, while we can still continue to file the expression of interest, the selection is only likely to happen from April onwards. The next category that we have is the student visa category. We also like to call it the study and settle pathway. I'll explain you why and how a study pathway can lead to residence later on. So while doing a lot of people who come for evaluation for skilled migrant category, I've come to realize that the people miss out on very small number of points, like 10 points, 5 points they'll be missing out from meeting the 160. So what really becomes important there is that if they were having a job offer from New Zealand, there are chances that they might not have to claim points for their work experience and everything, which requires a lot of documentation. So in those cases, what becomes important is for the person to go to New Zealand, do a qualification. Once you do your qualification, you will be entitled to a post-study work visa, which can range from 1 to 3 years, depending on what level of course you're doing. So once you do find a job at the post-study work visa stage, you are likely to meet your residence points, because there are about 50 points that you can get once you get a job offer meeting the requirements. So this is the study and settle pathway, which we explain our clients and has been working pretty well for our clients as well. So a lot of students, there's another question that I've been very frequently asked is that I'm 40 years old, can I still go and study? Well, if you look at India, I know there are a lot of reservations that we see that you cannot study after a certain age. However, when it comes to New Zealand, there are no such reservations. You can study at any age you want. There are, in fact, a lot of our students who have a 10 to 15 years of work experience. And now they're going with their 2 children to New Zealand, and they're doing their masters and everything. So age is no bar. So definitely you can look at the study option, even if you are 15 years down the work experience, your work experience, and it has been over 10 years that you did your last qualification. Nothing should stop you from going for a student visa. The other thing that you get with student visa is that you can work part-time. That is, you can work for 20 hours a week. This also allows you to get accustomed to the country, how everyone works in that country, to get an idea how the work culture is. So by the time you reach the post-study work visa stage, you are already, you know a lot about the country by that time. Right now, considering the border exceptions, there are a lot of courses and colleges who have started the online course right now. So for now, this is where a lot of people get stuck, because they want to know how their post-study work visa is going to look like after this. So while Immigration New Zealand has only come up with one instruction for this, that is that you need to complete at least 30 weeks of your course to get the post-study work visa that you are entitled to. So if you're doing a 1.5-year course or more, you can look at doing an online course option, which is likely to allow you to get your post-study work visa later on. So these are some of the positives about going for a study pathway. Another thing that is very important, and a lot of people do not know this, is that while you're on a student visa, you can actually take your family along with you. The visa category that you go on depends on your level of course. So if you are doing a level 6, 7 course, then your family will likely to be only travel on a visitor visa. While if you're doing a level 9 course or higher, your family can go. So this student pathway is actually a great pathway where family is willing to travel together. An additional qualification is definitely going to be an add-on to your career. So student pathway is something that a lot of people look at, and I would encourage people to continue to look at as well. Work visa is another pathway that we get a lot of queries from, but unfortunately, this pathway comes to a halt if you do not have a job offer from New Zealand. So what happens is that immigration will only issue you a visa if you have a job offer from New Zealand, and you can only get a job offer from New Zealand, or I would say you're likely to get a job offer from New Zealand if you have a work visa. So it's like a catch-22 situation. So a work visa becomes very difficult unless you hold a job offer. So people out there, if you have job offers with you from New Zealand companies, please reach out to us. There are various work visa categories that we can look at for you, and that is something where you can directly apply for a work visa. So if you do have a job offer, or you know people in New Zealand who can get you a job offer, please reach out to us and have a chat with us. Now, the fourth category that is there is the partnership visas for partners, for people whose partners are in New Zealand on a student visa or a work visa. So if you think that your family is stuck in India and you're there now, that you're on your student visa or you're on your work visa now, and you want your family to come along or come to New Zealand, reach out to us. There's a family category where your partner, your children can travel and live with you in New Zealand. In fact, what happens is when someone is going through a level 9 course, your partner will be eligible for a work visa, and that makes your children to apply for a student visa. Your children are likely to be considered as domestic students, which basically means that you will not have to pay for their education till the age of 17. This is a very, I would say, like a star for this visa category, because a lot of people who are traveling with their families right now are traveling to New Zealand for the kind of quality of life that New Zealand offers. And this is one of the example of that. So these are the various categories that you can look at when you're considering New Zealand as an option, and have a chat with us. What we do from our end is we don't like to put you under just one category. We like to evaluate the entire situation that you're in, your work experience, your previous qualifications, and accordingly suggest you the right pathway that would be good for you. So, well, it was a short topic for today to just give you a brief about different pathways that we have. Let's get on to the questions and see what all queries are we getting today. And hopefully, I will be able to clear out more queries for you. Okay, let's start with the questions on Facebook. So the first question I have is from Zia Ur Rahman, and he says, kindly can you say something regarding offshore SNC applicants who have already submitted applications? Are they in the queue or are they on hold? Zia, those applications are in the queue and on hold basically. So if you're talking about residence applications, they are in the queue right now to be processed. If you're talking about selections of EOIs, they are on hold right now, and they will only be, I think they'll only start the selections post April 2021. I hope I have cleared your query. Thank you for coming live, coming on my live session today. Next question we have is from Shamal Parekh, and he says, hi, back to EGV live after so long. Thank you, Shamal, for coming to my live session. He says, I have a couple of questions about post-study work visa. Sure, Shamal, please leave us your questions and I'll be happy to answer. The next question we have is from Omi Chandelier, and she says, what's the maximum point one revives for completing 1 year master's level 9 or PGTIP level 8 in New Zealand? Omi, as far as I understand your question, I think you're asking how many points you will get for your residence application, basically for the skilled migrant category if you complete a level 9 course. So if you're doing a level 9 course, you are eligible for 70 points for that. And if you're doing a level 8 course, that will give you 50 points for your qualifications. There are also bonus points related to it. So I would suggest leave us your number so that we can get in touch with you and I can explain you better how the point system works in New Zealand. Thank you so much. The next question we have is from Shamal Parekh, who says, I hope you have already promoted Grace and Catherine. Thank you, Shamal, for leaving that comment. That clearly shows that how well Grace and Catherine have been doing, and an applause for them. Well done, Grace and Catherine. And it's very great to for people to drop in these comments, and it shows that we are all doing the right thing. So well done, Grace and Catherine. Thank you, Shamal, for leaving us this comment. The next comment we have is from Kevin. He says, "Hi, Palika." Hi, Kevin. Thank you for coming to the live session. The next question we have is from Vijay Sandhu, and he says, "Ma'am, please tell me when will international students come in New Zealand?" Vijay, right now we don't have any information, unfortunately. We are hoping to hear something very soon. So fingers crossed and stay tuned to AGV, and we will definitely let you know as soon as some information comes in. Tijani Kaushalya says, "When will the new changes be done in immigration?" Tijani, at this stage, we do not have any more information. The next question we've got is from Dhanush Shetty, and he says, "Kindly talk about investor visa 1 and 2. Thank you, Dhanush, for leaving us this comment. We will take this in consideration, and it would be, I think, investor category is something that we will have to have a separate session for it. So I will let my team know to note this down, and we can have another session on the investor category. In case you do have any specific questions, you can reach out to us separately, and I can clear out your queries. I see that you've left us your number, so definitely someone from our team will get in touch with you and help you out with your investor queries. Thank you for coming online, Dhanush. Based on IT institutes that offer courses. You've left us your number. I think to having some issue. Just team, can you confirm me if you're able to see me live on Facebook? Team, can you confirm me if you're able to see me live on Facebook? Okay. So team confirms that I'm live. Hoping to hear from them, immigration, any idea on when the board will do. Right now, it's just a waiting game. We'll have to wait and hear from them on the border closure. When are they going to open the borders up? And then accordingly, when they start the processing of visa categories, we'll have more news for you. So stay tuned to AGV, and I'm sure as soon as we have any information on this, we will let you know. Shamil Parak says, "I'm about to complete level 8 this November. However, my student visa is valid till 31st March 2021. So what is the best time to apply for post-study work visa?" Shamil, I would say that if you are completing your level 8 in November, as soon as you get your transcripts, you can apply for your post-study work visa. So as soon as you can get your transcript from the college, please reach out to the team, send it the documents to our team, and they will apply the post-study work visa for you. The sooner the better, so that there is no delay in your processing of the work visas. Because keeping in mind that even the offices in New Zealand are going to be overloaded with work, so it's better to always apply before. So as soon as your course completes and you get your results and your transcripts, we can apply for the post-study work visa. I hope I've cleared your query out. Next question we have from Fadi Bachar, and she says, "I missed it. Will students' visa be open in 21st, 2021? Thank you." Fadi, thank you for leaving us your question. However, right now we do not have any information on the student visas. As soon as we do, we will let you all know. Thank you for leaving us your question. Unfortunately, I do not have any more information to give you right now. Omi Shandalia says, "Please reach out to me on this number. Need some clarity with points of New Zealand. I have applied for University of Wellington through AJB." Thank you, Omi, for leaving us your number. I will have definitely someone get in touch with you and get you some clarity on the point system. Thank you for leaving us your question. Another question we have is from Niranjan Fernando, and he says, I'm an HAV student. May I know how many years of post-study work visa you get for masters? If you complete a master's, Niranjan, you'll be eligible for a 3 years post-study work visa. I hope I have cleared that query out for you. Thank you for coming to my live. Next question we've got is from Krishna Kumar Ravindran, and he says, thank you for leaving us a number first. And then he says, regarding partnership visa to New Zealand from India, as my wife is working in New Zealand. Krishna, right now we cannot launch the files. However, we can at least start preparing the files. Considering your wife is working in New Zealand, you'll be able to apply for a partnership visa as a partner or worker. You can apply for a work visa. It will be an open work visa, and the validity is likely to be similar to your partner's validity. So if you're meeting all the partnership requirements and you're eligible for this visa, you can go ahead with this. To know that if you're meeting the eligibility requirements or not, you can book consultation with one of the LIs in AJV, and we can help you out with your partnership visas. We can at least at this stage, what we tell our clients to do is that while we do not have clarity for the border closure, when is the borders opening, when are they going to accept applications, so what we suggest is at least keep your applications ready, so that by the time we know that, okay, fine, they suddenly open up the lodgement and the borders, we can apply for the applications then and there, and we do not have to then wait to collect documentation. So my suggestion to you would be connect with us so that we can start working on the partnership file. So as soon as they do open up the systems, we can launch the file as soon as possible. Thank you, Krishna, for coming online. Okay, let me just see if my team has something for me. Okay, nothing as of now. The next question we have is from Rehan Hafiz, and he said, how is Massey University for Masters in Analytics? Massey University is a great university. However, if you're looking for this course is also available in AUT. So you can also check that course out and see if that suits your requirements as well. Thank you for leaving us your number. The team will definitely get in touch with you, Rehan, and will provide you more information on this course. Thank you for leaving us your question. I can't see any more questions on the Facebook. Let's switch to YouTube and see if you have any questions there. One question we've got is from Vijay Sandhu. Please tell me about the scope of applied science level 5 and 6. Vijay, the scope is pretty good in this area. What you would study is food technology, environmental technology. The demand in these jobs is quite huge, so this is definitely a good area of study. Why don't you just leave us your number so that one of the student advisor can explain you the job prospects, what kind of jobs you can get, what will you be exactly studying there, which will give you a better idea for these for the applied science courses. Thank you for coming online. We have one more question from Prashu Radha, and he says, how positive are you on New Zealand opening its border for international students? By not sure what he's written, but at least by July 21. Elections are over. AJV already has my contact info. Thank you, Prashu. We are quite hopeful that by July intake, the borders will be open. However, I do not want to raise your hopes with incomplete information. So unless we do not get proper information from Immigration New Zealand, I will suggest that you also hold on to speculation. As soon as we do get to know something, we will let you know for sure. Thank you, Prashu. There's another question by Sonu Grover who says, what are the PR chances in IT field after studying? IT field, most of the jobs in IT field are in the long-term skill shortage list. So if you are planning to study in New Zealand in the IT field, it will definitely give you a lot of job prospects because it's in the long-term skill shortage list. What is a long-term skill shortage list? Basically, it means that the government, the immigration has come up with a list. The government has come up with a list which identifies those job roles where they need more people. So basically, the job opportunities are going to be higher in those areas, and IT is one of those sectors which do fall in those areas. So if you're looking at finding a job in New Zealand, you will be able to find a job in the IT sector very easily, which will help you in getting your residence faster. So when you're talking about PR chances, yes, you have very great PR getting the residence if you're studying and working in the IT sector. Hopefully, Sonu, I've given you clarity about your question. Moving on to the next question. Sindhuja Rajshekhar, and he says, hi, ma'am, can you give me your mail ID so that I can get a consultation? Sure. You can note down my ID, which is tulika.mehra@ajvglobal.com. You can connect with me there. I will paste the email ID and I will share the other details that you can connect with us later in the session. So just stay tuned for the session. Thank you, Sindhuja. Dhanush, my team suggests that they are not able to get in touch with you on the number that you've provided. So if you can please provide your number again, so my team will definitely get in touch with you right now and give you clarity on your questions. Okay, seem to have run out of questions here also. Shamil Parekh has another question, and he says, so what I do, I get an interim visa and do not get a PSW visa for 2-3 months. I won't be able to work meanwhile. Yes, so if you're on an interim visa, you will not be able to work, and that is why I suggest that before your student visa expires, please apply for your work visa so that you get that in time and you can start working as soon as possible. So post-study work visas usually don't take that much time to get processed. So my suggestion would be apply as soon as possible. So the minute you can get a transcript from your college or a letter from your college that you are going to graduate on this certain date, then we can apply for your post-study work visa right now. So Shamil, please work on this as soon as you complete your course. Try and get the transcripts or that letter so as soon as possible. Please speak to our onshore team who will assist you with the post-study work visa and will file it for you at the right time. Another question we have is from Faraz Amzad, and he says, does New Zealand easily grant visa for partner of international students? Should all the requirements are met? Requirements such as funding and other documents. Okay, so Faraz, what basically happens for the partner visa is there are two important instructions that you need to meet. One is the genuine and stable relationship, and the other is the living together requirement. Now, genuine and stable is still an easier instruction to meet. However, you do need to meet the living together requirements, which basically says that you need to have sufficient documentation to demonstrate that you and your partner have been living together and sharing household duties together, and you can be considered in a relationship which is going to be long lasting. Now, what documents are required for it is something that depends on relationship to relationship. So for that, you will have to speak to one of us so that we can give you an idea of the kind of documents that you will need to show. When we talk about funding, the partners are only required to show a smaller amount in comparison to what student visa holders need to show. So basically, for their living expenses, they need to show $4,200 each. So if you're going with if your partner is traveling along with your child, so both of them will have to show $4,200 each. There is the restrictions on the kind of funds to show and what is acceptable and not acceptable is also very different from what is acceptable for student visas. So I would suggest speak to us in detail so that we can let you know, okay, these kind of documents will be acceptable. In case you do not have those documents, then what other documents you can provide to meet those requirements. So Faraz, leave us your number. I would suggest please speak to one of us and we will be able to guide you on your partnership visa well. Thank you for coming online and leaving us your question. Faraz Imzad has another question. He says, I have an offer letter of Masters of Information Technology from University of Auckland and another offer letter from Masters of Business Information System from University of Canterbury. Which one is better? Faraz, both are equally good courses. However, if you see, everyone who's going to New Zealand has an idea of getting to the residence stage later on. So if you are looking at that eventually, then my suggestion would be to try and choose going to a city which will add value to you when it comes to residence. So basically what happens in your residence is there's one additional point system, which is the bonus points that you get if you have a job offer outside of Auckland. Now, if you're studying in Auckland, you are likely to find a job there only. So my suggestion would be University of Canterbury is equally good. The course is equally good. So you can choose University of Canterbury and you can do your course there. If you find a job outside of Auckland, it will give you additional of 30 points, which will make a huge difference in your residence file. And you will be likely to meet the points as soon as you can get a job. So while both the courses and the universities are equally good, I think there will be just an additional bonus point if you're going for a university outside of Auckland, because you're likely to find a job outside of Auckland, which will give you those additional 30 points. I hope, Faraz, that I have been able to clear that query out. If you do have any more questions about this, please leave us your number or just we'll connect with you and we'll clear out your queries. Thank you so much. Next question is from Divakar David, and he says, I have eight plus years of experience in IT. Is the work experience letter mandatory? As my first organization where I worked for 2 years was a startup and no longer is operational. However, I have bank statements to prove salary credit. Thank you, Divakar, for leaving us your question. It depends on what visa category are you looking at. When we talk about residence, we are claiming points on the basis of your work experience. So it becomes very important for us to have as many documents as we can for those work experience, because immigration officer can either be satisfied with what we have submitted or they would want more. So it's always good to submit as much as possible. If you're looking at the residence file, I will have to look in detail the kind of documentation is there. If you have a salary credit, you have the bank statements proving the salary credit, that's great. However, we will need something like a job offer or a job description letter from that company to show what exactly work that you are doing so that we can claim those points. If you're talking about going for a student visa, then of course in that this is something that we can still cover up, because the 2 years that you're talking about are the initial 2 years, and been there's been 6 years after that that you have a different work experience and you have the documents for it. So that is where that we can work with these documentation. But if you're looking at residence, then we would need a bit more than that. So I would suggest leave us your number so that we can talk in detail about what category you're looking at and what kind of documentation will be required for those categories. Thank you, Divakar. We have another question from Pragati Sawant. He says, मेरे लड़के ही ने बीएससी हॉस्पिटैलिटी अप्लाई मैनेजमेंट किया है, एनएमआईटी में किया है, जॉब नहीं. So I'll just repeat this question for you. So basically, Pragati is trying to say that her son has done a BSc in hospitality management from NMIT and he has no job. Pragati, we unfortunately, this is not something that I will be able to help you out with. We are a migration company. We do not assist with students getting job. However, we can definitely assist him with any further visa requirements that he have, or he wants to continue to stay in New Zealand. What is the best way forward for him? So I would request you to please ask him to get in touch with our team so that we can assist him further with wherever he is stuck right now. Okay, we seem to run out questions on YouTube. Let's go back to Facebook and see if we have more questions there. Sharia says, when will New Zealand open border for post-study work visa? Ashish, we do not have any such information right now. So just stay tuned, and as soon as we do, when he says want to apply for masters, thank you, Gurjot, for leaving us your number. One of the team members will get in touch with you, and after looking at your entire profile of your previous qualification, your work experience, they will assist you with the right course that will help you in New Zealand in finding a job later on and moving on to the other stages of life. Thank you for leaving us your question. The next question we have another question from Niranjan, and he says, job prospect on hospitality management due to current conditions. Niranjan, as you would know, like the pandemic has struck and the borders have closed, so the hospitality sector has definitely taken a hit in New Zealand. However, looking at New Zealand as a country, it is a completely tourist. It is a tourist place. It is a country which is based entirely on tourism. It relies on tourism. So as soon as the borders are going to open up, the tourism is going to pick up and the hospitality sector is going to pick up. So right now the conditions may not be great, but what we have to wait for is the borders to open up. And as soon as the borders open up, these sectors will also start going back up again. And it's going to be a great boost in those sectors, because these are the sectors which, because of which New Zealand survives on. Tourism plays a major part in the economy of New Zealand. So hospitality is a great sector, so do not deviate from it. I'm sure once the borders open up, the job prospects will go up again. Thank you, Niranjan. Manas Mayur have asked the question, what does long-term skill shortage mean? So basically what it means is that the government has come up with a list of job roles which are in shortage in New Zealand, which means that they need more people in those areas to fill those jobs up. So, for example, if you're in the IT sector, there are a lot of roles that are in the long-term skill shortage list, which means that They need more people there, so the job opportunities in those areas are going to be higher. So if your current job role is in that long-term skill shortages, basically means you will be open to more job opportunities in New Zealand. Hope I have cleared that query out, Manas. Vinod Sharma has left a question saying, I'm a permanent resident, got married in January, and I have applied for my partner's visa on February. I've heard that they are processing partners of residents and citizens. Any idea how long does it take? Anything we can do to bring her here? Yes, Vinod, we can definitely apply for these categories. We can apply for your partner's visa. And in fact, I would suggest it's a good time to do that, considering that only these applications are being processed right now. The chances of getting them approved is also higher. And the time frame, last I checked on immigration, it was about 6 to 7 months. However, if considering that you are a permanent resident in New Zealand, and your partner is stuck in India, it will they will give a lot of importance to that, because so just I would suggest apply for it as soon as possible before other categories start opening up, and there will be further delays in the processing of these visa applications. So I think this is the right time to apply for these applications. So thank you for leaving us your number. One of my team members will definitely get in touch with you and assist your partner with the partnership visa. Another question we have is from Philip, and he says, which month approximately of 2021 will work visa changes to combine all the categories happen? You think INZ will update median wage thresholds as per latest $27 per hour rate in November? Philip, we do not have any idea on when this is going to happen, on what changes are going to happen. It's everything is a speculation right now. So I would suggest just don't take any steps just on the basis of assumption or speculation. Let's just wait for the actual changes to happen. We do not have any clarity on when they're going to happen, so it's just a waiting game, and we're all in the same boat. So we just have to wait and see what is going to happen later on. Another question we have is from Gina Chetri, and he says, ma'am, please tell me something about offshore partnership visitor visa. Thank you, Gina, for leaving us your question. So basically, it depends on what kind of partnership visa you want to apply for. So there are various types of partnership visas. One can be partner of student. So it depends on what your partner is doing in New Zealand. If your partner is a student, you can apply for a visitor visa based as a partner of a student. This will allow you to be in the country on a visitor visa. You will not have any work rights. You cannot work in the country. The validity of the visa is likely to be similar to your partner's validity, provided you're meeting all the requirements for a partnership visa. So there are some things that have to be taken into consideration when we go this path. It also, I would need more information about when you got married, because there are also other categories of partnership visas that you can apply for. So why don't you please leave us your number so that one of us can get in touch with you and will assist you further with the partnership requirements. Thank you, Gina, for leaving us your question. Another question we have from Faraz Amzad is, I have a study gap of almost 7 years now, but I have been employed since my graduation. So should the study gap be a hurdle for a student visa? And he also says, final question, please. It's absolutely fine, Faraz. I'm here to answer all your queries. No, it is not going to be an issue. A gap can only be an issue when you were either not studying or working, and we do not have any information on what you were doing at that time. However, if you were working, it's absolutely fine. Of course, there are a lot of students actually who have gone on student visas now, who had like at least 10 years of gap in between from their last qualification. So it's completely okay. You can still go for a student visa. It's not going to be a hurdle at all. I hope I have given you clarity on this, and looking forward to working with you soon. Thank you, Faraz. Vishwajit Sharma says, "Ma'am, I'm looking for skill migration visa. For that, how much fee I have to pay? Does English fluency create obstacle in case I want to migrate to New Zealand?" Thank you, Vishwajit, for leaving us your question. Coming to the cost fee bit, um, there are different stages in the skill migrant category, so there will be charges, different charges in different stages. First of all, for skill migration category, what becomes very important is to just be very sure that you're meeting the points that you are calculating. So my suggestion would be, first check your points, get them rechecked by a licensed immigration advisor so that you are sure that you're meeting those points. Coming down to the fee bit, immigration usually charges $530 for expression of interest and $3,310 for residence visa. Apart from that, there could be additional expenses that you will have to incur, such as getting a qualification assessment done by the NZQA, the charges will be different for that depending on how many qualifications we have to get assessed and what other kind of assessments we have to do for it. And other things that can be additional expenses could be your IELTS, your medicals, PCC. Now, coming down to your next question about English fluency, you do need to meet basic English requirements. You do need to have 6.5 at least. So if you are looking at migrating to New Zealand, yes, English fluency, English requirements is something that you will need to meet. There are different English requirements for every kind of visa category. So I would suggest speak to us, and we will leave us your number so that we can get in touch with you and we will help you out. Thank you, Vishwajit. Herman Verghese says, "Hi, I'm currently in New Zealand. I came as a student for studying hospitality. I need some insight about how can I get PR for my better future when I don't have any hope in this industry." Herman, your residency application will depend on your profile. So we will have to look at your previous work experience, the current job offer, if you have any, and what points you're reaching at to see how you can go up to the residence stage. So my suggestion would be, leave us your number or get in touch with us so that we can help you out with your queries further. Because with limited information, I will not be able to tell you which is the right way forward for your residency. So I will need to see your profile for that, and we can have a separate conversation. So you can either book a consultation with me and we can have a detailed call about your current situation and what is the best way forward from here. Thank you, Herman. Next question from Razan is, "Hi Tulika, within how many months of completing the studies we are eligible to apply for PR?" I see a lot of people are asking about PR. Basically, what you first get is a residence. Only once you stay on your residence for 2 years, you can eligible for a permanent residency. There is not much difference in the two, but it just first thing that you get is a residence. Now, how many months of completing the studies? Within how many months of completing the studies? There is no set rule as such, Rizan. If you have completed your studies, you move on to post-study work visa. The minute you get yourself a job meeting the basic salary requirements of $25.50. If you are able to get a job offer that is meeting that salary threshold, you can apply for your residence. You are likely to meet the 160 points. So my suggestion would be, the minute you find yourself a job, speak to us so that we can see that you're meeting the 160 points. and then you can apply for your residence. So there is no that thing that there is nothing like that you have to wait for a certain period of months or time before you can apply for residence. The minute you're meeting the requirements, you can go ahead and file your expression of interest. Thank you, Razan. I hope I've cleared your query. The next question I see is from Terence Ben, and he says, what is the scope of biotechnology study in New Zealand? Like I said before, the scope is pretty good. You can go into the food science, food technology, aquaculture. These are the various areas where you can go into. So the scope is pretty good. Therese, leave us your number so that we can see what your profile is like, and if there is other courses or other areas that you can also look at. So leave us your number so that we can help you better. Thank you, Therese. Next question we have is from Jyot Kaur. She says, your name, please. Jyot, my name is Talika Mehra. You can look me up on our website on agvglobal.com. So I don't think we have any more questions. Just double check on YouTube if I've missed out on any. We wait for a couple of more questions to come in. I'll just repeat our contact details for you guys. If you want to contact us on our India toll-free number, it is 1800-103-6525. If you want to contact us on our New Zealand toll-free number, it is 0800-696977. I'll repeat the India toll-free number again. It is 1800-103-6525. If you want to leave us an email, you can leave us an email on info@ajvglobal.com, info@ajvglobal.com. Okay, I don't think we have more questions on Facebook. Let's go back to YouTube. One question we've got is from Muhammad Junaid, and he says, hi, I've completed my bachelor's in business management back in 2012. And now I would like to pursue a PG program. I want to take up something which is in the long-term skill shortage list. Thank you, Junaid, for leaving us your question. So basically, if you've done a business management program in 2012, I think I would need more information about what is your work experience till now. Which area are you still currently working in? And accordingly, I would suggest that you go for your PG program. I understand that a lot of people want to go for a program which is in the long-term skill shortage list. But just keep it in mind that it should be at least relevant to your previous qualification or your work experience, and then only it will add value to your profile. Just don't choose a course because it's in the long-term skill shortage list. Choose a course which is more relevant to your previous qualification and work experience, because that is what will assist you in getting a job later on. I know long-term skill shortage list, there is an edge for those people in finding a jobs, but not when you don't have relevant work experience or relevant qualification for it. So if you have been in a different sector and now suddenly you do a PG program in a long-term skill shortage which is not relevant to your current profile, it will not add value to your, this education will not add value to you. So, Junaid, I would just leave us your number, speak to us. We can see your entire profile and we'll assist you with the right course. Even if it's not in the long-term skill shortage list, we'll assist you with a course which will at least help you in New Zealand in getting a job. And second of all, in case we are able to find you something in the long-term skill shortage list, then great. So I would suggest just connect with us so that we can help you more with your query. Thank you, Junaid. There's another question from Sharon J. Matthew, and he says, I got an offer letter from WIT for Feb intake. Ma'am, do you have any update regarding border opening? Sharon, thank you for leaving us a question. At this stage, we do not have any information, but hopefully we should have soon. So just stay tuned to AGV, and as soon as we do hear anything about the borders opening up, we will definitely let you know. Okay, can't see any more questions. Another question from there's a question from Philip, and he says, do you see 100K plus NZ salaries for your students? Which sector roles offer this, and what's the typical years of work experience of such students? Um, Philip, usually I have seen people able to get such paying jobs in the IT sector. There are a lot of sectors like this, so I wouldn't discriminate amongst them. But on top of my head, I can think of one of my client who was in the IT sector and had a 10 years of work experience, who was able to get a job which had a salary of 100K and above. So, which is just one of the examples. There are a lot of other sectors as well. So, just speak to us. Thank you for leaving us your number. Have a chat with one of our advisors there, and they will give you clarity on the kind of profile that you have and what are the job prospects in New Zealand for that. I think we have completed the questions for today, and I think it's time for to end the live session as well. So I'm sorry if I've not been able to answer any queries, and if you do have any more questions, please leave us your queries, and the team will respond to you the soonest. Um, and in case do you want to reach out to us, I'll repeat the contact details for all of you. You can contact the India toll-free number at 1-800-103-6525. The New Zealand toll-free number is 0800-696-9977. You can leave us an email at info@ejvglobal.com. Thank you for coming live, everyone. Thank you for attending the session, asking your questions. I'm sure the questions that you ask also helps the other people who are watching the session. So thank you for coming on the live session and putting up your comments in the comment section. And I'll see you super soon. Have a great day and stay safe, stay home, and see you next time.